Pull him up, please, God, pull him up.
Femi, stay with us.
We're losing him, help us.
They found Femi face down in Odo Eja on a Tuesday afternoon. The water didn't reach his ankle. His slippers were on the flat stone, side by side, placed, dry as harmattan dust. His phone was still recording in his right hand. That was the day we remembered. The river was never safe. I grew up 2 compounds away from that river in Ikire. We called it Odo Eja because the old women said fish sang there at dusk. You could smell it before you saw it. Wet green of forest, red earth after rain, wood smoke from a Risikat frying Ikire by the bank. By 10, everybody swam there. Everybody fetched there. My grandma gave us the soft version. She would stare Eba with one hand and say, "Don't go after 6. Mommy water they rinse hair that time." We laughed. The adults told us the river was settled since 1981. That was the children's story. I didn't hear the real one until I was old enough to sit up at night when NEPA takes light and generator don't die and the lantern heat sits on only one side of your face. Femi was the reason we believed it. Chief's first son, first boy from our side of Ikire to enter Unilag and finish. He came back with clean English and built a borehole with his own NYSC Alawi. He could fix a generator with his spoon and swear words. He carried his whole family on his back. He never complained. His small sister Tobi was 9. She followed him like shadow. Shebi, you know that kind of sibling. If Femi coughed, Tobi would bring water. The village loved him and resented him in the same breath. He was our proof we had outgrown superstition. Every Sunday after service, he said it loud, "Odo is just water, H2O. So why would Odo take him? And why in water that couldn't drown a fowl? That is the loop my grandma left when she died. What did they really give the river in 1981? Because it wasn't just a goat. 2 weeks before Femi died, the wrongness started small. Mama Risikat went to fetch at that time when sun is not up or down, that soft dusk when fire burns low. She came back without water. Her bucket was empty. Her wrapper was soaked from the hem down. Her hands shook so bad the bucket rattled against her leg. She said the river smelt like something rotting, where nothing should rot even though it was dry season. She said she had a woman humming under the water. Clear, clear, like the voice was coming up through her legs, not down through her ears. We laughed at her. Femi laughed the loudest. "Mama, na catfish," he said. 3 days later, my cousin Daya was coming back from the farm path that passes Odo. Rain had fallen that morning. The mud was soft. He saw small footprints, bare feet, child size. They went straight into the water. None came out. He stood there. The crickets stopped all at once, for maybe 10 seconds. Then they started again, too loud, too fast. He told us that night while we were eating. His voice was low. Femi told him to stop watching Nigerian horror films. That's the second time. 1 is odd, 2 is a pattern. The third time was the night before it happened. NEPA took light around 2 a.m., that deep hour between 2 and 3, when even dogs refused to bark. My room is behind the kitchen, no window. Darkness get weight inside there. I woke up because I had slippers, soft crunch on laterite outside our fence, slow, going towards Odo. Then a voice called, not loud, "Femi, Femi." It sounded like someone speaking with water in their mouth. The tone was wrong. The sound didn't travel across, it traveled up. Femi's door creaked, opened. I heard his slippers pause on the step. He didn't answer. He went back inside. I think he slept. In the morning, Tobi told me her dream while she was braiding rope. She dreamt of a fine woman combing her hair inside the river. Her eyes caught firelight. There was no fire. You see how it builds. 1, that's odd. 2, wait, that's the same thing again. 3, something is very wrong and it knows your name. The pivot happened on Sunday, Harvest Thanksgiving. The old women had brought the yearly things for Odo, like they always did, even if they did it quietly now because church frowns on it. White cloth, kola, a small white ram. They were going to the bank by 6. Chief stood up in front of everybody with Femi beside him. He said, "We are children of God now. We will not feed demons." Femi carried the basin himself. He poured the kola inside the gutter. The knots hit the concrete and scattered. He untied the ram and handed the rope to the church security to take home. He looked at the old women and said, 1981 done pass. Make we stop living in fear. The old women did not argue. Mama Agba just looked at him. That long look old people give you when you have already made the mistake and they are just watching it land. She said in Yoruba, "Omi ogbaado, omi baeninyo pataki." The water doesn't just take anyone, it takes someone important. Femi smiled. To prove it, he walked down to Odo at noon the next day with half the village watching. He rolled his trousers up to his knees. He stepped in, he splashed his face, he washed his hands. He shouted, "You see? Just water." The water was clear that day. Too clear. Still. Sunlight made it look like glass holding its breath. The river was shallow. That was what made it deep. That was the point of no return. After that, there is no safety. There is no going back. That night, Tobi did not come home for dinner. We found her pink bucket by the flat stone, full to the brim. The water inside was cold like deep well water, even though the sun had burned all day. Femi did not wait for anybody. He grabbed the big rechargeable lantern. The kerosene fumes stung my nose when he pumped it. The heat sat on the left side of my face as I followed him down the path. We were 10, maybe 12. Nobody talked loud. The forest sound was wrong. When we reached the bank, the crickets stopped again. Just cut, like someone pressed mute. Femi called her name. "Tobi, Tobi." Something answered from the middle of the river. Not an echo,
Come to
a
me
hum.
now.
That same hum Mama Risikat heard. Femi stepped in, ankle deep, then knee deep. The lantern light threw our shadows on the water in a way that didn't match our legs. He held his phone up, recording. I don't know why. Maybe to show the village later that there was nothing, proof. He went further. "Tobi, come out now, stop playing." He reached the deep center. In rainy season, it should take your chest. The water stopped at his ankle again. That shouldn't be possible. Then we heard the splash. Not big, small, like someone stepping into a basin inside a quiet room. The lantern flickered. Femi turned. His eyes caught the light for 1 second. Then he fell forward, face down, arms out, like something pulled his ankles, not pushed his shoulders. Nobody moved for 3 heartbeats. Then everybody screamed and ran into the water. We pulled him out. Water poured from his mouth and nose, plenty, like he had swallowed a whole drum. His slippers were already on the stone, placed side by side, dry. Tobi was not in the water. We carried Femi up the bank. His phone was still tight in his palm, still recording. Back at the compound, generator was off and everywhere was dark. The men gathered under the mango tree. Someone lit one small candle. They played the recording. You could hear Femi breathing fast. You could hear the soft crunch of his feet on stones underwater. You could hear that hum getting louder and louder. Then a small voice, clear, right beside the microphone, wet. Toli's voice, but wrong. "Femi, they said you would come." Femi's voice confused. "Who said?" And the voice, not Tobi again, woman voice now, in that water undertone said,
The ones that begged us in 1981. Then water sound. Then nothing. We found Tobi the next morning, asleep under the mango tree behind Chief's house. Her wapa was dry. Her hair was plaited in fine small cornrows, still damp, smelling of that river rot Mama Risikat described. When Mama Agba shook her awake and asked her where she slept, Tobi rubbed her eyes and said, "The fine woman combed my hair inside the water. She said Femi will stay with her now, so we can fetch water in peace."
So the village
Chief
can
broke
fetch in
that day.
peace.
Right there on the bench, with Femi's wet shirt in his hands, he told us what his own father confessed on his deathbed. 1981, cholera came. It took 23 people in 2 weeks. The borehole then was spoilt. The only water was Odo. Babalawo told Chief's father the river was vexed because they built the new market road straight across her path without asking. She didn't want goats. She wanted a life from the family that broke the path, an important one, a first son of promise. Chief begged. He offered himself. Babalawo pleaded on his behalf. Mamiwata agreed to wait. If every year they fed her white cloth, kola and ram to cool her head, to make her forget. For a while, they fed her for 40 years. Then Femi poured her food inside gutter and called her a demon in front of everybody. The river was never safe. We were just too small for it to bother collecting. We buried Femi on Friday. His mother still set his plate on Sundays, even after we buried him. The whole village fetched water from the borehole for 1 month, even though the water tasted like iron. Nobody went to Odo. On the 32nd day, Mama Risikat went at dawn. She came back with her bucket balanced on her head, smiling.
Today.
She said the river was singing again, but this time low, satisfied. Tobi is 14 now. She still fetches water sometimes when the borehole spoils. She hums that same underwater song without knowing the words. Her feet are always cold, even in hot afternoon, like she stood in something that never left her skin. Sometimes at dusk, when fire burns low, she stares at Odo and whispers. She says, "Thank you." That's the part my grandma left out. Some waters don't want your fear. They want your disrespect. They wait for the one person important enough that his loss will make everybody remember. You live in Lekki now, or Houston, or Peckham. You think this is village story. You fetch water from tap. You don't have Odo, but you have water near you. Every city is built around a river that was there before the flyover. And every water has a time when it stops being just water. When the crickets stop. When you smell rotten when nothing should rot. When you hear your name called in the wrong tone from a place that should be empty. Next time you drive over 3rd Mainland Bridge at 2 a.m. and the lagoon is black and still, and your car radio cuts to static for 3 seconds, remember Femi's slippers, placed side by side, dry. Remember that quiet is how water haunts. There is another story I haven't told you, about the boarding school in Oyo, where the girls in dormitory C still hear heels knocking on the corridor after lights out, and why you must never answer when they call your name the second time. The night has more stories. I'll see you in the dark.